Tesla sells cars, sure. Tesla sells energy, sure. But there's some hidden revenue opportunities hiding in plain sight. And of course, whenever it comes to things like this, I need someone smarter than me to help me out. That's why I got Mark from the Tesla Life to join me, as he does from time to time. Appreciate that. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. Mark, a pleasure having you as always.
Always great to be here, Brian. Thank you.
Yeah, we spend about equal amounts of time on camera as just kind of BSing behind the scenes. So,
Yeah, absolutely. We have a great time when we're together.
yeah, it is fun. So, yeah, I did want to say a quick thank you to another person who used my referral. Congratulations, Paul, on your new Model Y. Thank you so much. I got referral credits for that, so I use those to go on my adventures. That pays for my Supercharger miles and other fun things that I can use to grow and do better work. Thank you so much. And if you want to support, there's always Patreon. There's X as a subscriber. There's YouTube as a channel member. There's all those things. Or you can just subscribe, leave a comment. All those things help and I appreciate it. Did you know, Mark, that Tesla stands to earn billions a year by opening up the charging network?
Billions.
Now
Absolutely billions.
I think billions might be a little high,
Maybe.
but it's but even in terms of total revenue, that strikes me as a little high. But it's on CNBC, and as you know, they are incapable of telling a mistruth. Certainly not by being just plain lazy, but there is money here. Auto Forecast Solutions says they could generate 6 to 12 billion in annual revenue by 2030. So there we go. It's in the distant future and it's total revenue, not profit. So at any rate, it is real money. What do you think of this prospect?
I think Tesla is lining themselves up nicely to be the dominant charger in North America. It's something that has been a long time coming. There's been a lot of competition in the past, but it seems that this other competition has had time to really put their foot in their mouths several times. Reliability has not been a strong point for other charging infrastructure out there. And that, of course, is what we EV drivers require the most, because when we're on a trip, we want to know the charger we're going to is reliably there, operational, and usable. And that seems to be a problem with some of these other charging companies. With Tesla, traditionally, it has not been a problem.
Now, let me ask you this. Surely Tesla would be happy if when they had gotten started, someone else came along and made a network like the Supercharger network that was just as reliable, just had just as much coverage geographically, but that didn't happen. What benefits does Tesla have to opening up the Supercharger network, do you think?
That is something that a lot of Tesla owners don't recognize. There are a lot of Tesla chargers out there that are underutilized. They are in far off places, in between cities, on lonely stretches of highways that do not get the use that really would pay for a charger placement where they are. If Tesla can open this up to all other brands and you can have another 50% of customers that could possibly hit those underutilized assets, that's going to benefit Tesla overall, because now they have more profit coming in from the assets that they have out there. And on top of it, everyone gets a reliable network that they can use with the EV that they've purchased.
So you just raised a great point, which is I've seen people saying, hey, the supercharger I go to is already jam full. I don't want other EVs using it. They're not required to open that one up. They can only open up the ones that they wish to open up, the underutilized ones, and the others can remain Tesla exclusive. There's other advantages I see too. One would be Teslas generally charge faster than the competition. So if you pull in something that can only charge at 100, 150, as opposed to your Tesla, which can go to 250 and up sometimes, you're going to be sitting, if you pull in a Hummer EV and plug in, and you're sitting there for an hour and a half watching Tesla show up, juice up, and go over and over, that's a big selling feature. And for that matter, if Ford could have their name on the gas pump, oh, they'd be delighted. That's big advertising right there. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah. What do you think of those?
It's free advertising. It's like you said, that Hummer is there for an hour plus. They're staring at a Tesla sign the entire time they are there. They are staring, as you mentioned, of Model S's and 3s, of Cybertrucks coming in and going out quickly, and realizing that I may have made the wrong choice initially in an EV, but I know what my next choice will be because I see it all around me.
And you're right. Free advertising is exactly what it is. You go into your app in your Ford blue oval, whatever, find my charger, and it says here's some names to consider on your journey. EV Go, it might work. Electrify America might work. Blink, you'll be there long enough to take 2 naps. And our biggest EV competitor, their name is all over the app, big logo, can't miss it. So I was trying to make a great video showing some of the charging options for Ford Lightnings using the Ford website, and it wanted to give me it. They want the list to look like there's a million options, so they list all of them, including one that was like a 20 kilowatt charger at a dealership where they had one stall. And I thought, oh, 20 to fill a Lightning. Better start looking at apartments, honey, because we're going to be here a while. Just crazy. You could.
They should add that to the 20 kilowatt. There should be an option of renting a room, right? Got a place to stay as you charge.
So ridiculous. It's insane. I've got a lot of driving coming up this weekend. For those who worry about charging, remember you charge at home most of the time. If you have off-street parking, you can get power to your car. You don't need to get a 220 out there to have pretty effective charging for most people. I'm 4.5, almost 5 months into my ownership, and I'm still using my 115 volt, 12 amp circuit, and it, for my purposes, suits me well. I've got a whole bunch of driving coming up this weekend, so I just yesterday cranked the charge limit up to 100, so that tomorrow when I leave, I will be at 100. It's probably at 100 already, but I will have that extra 20% I need to make my journey a little bit easier. And it's great. It's fine. Other cost savings, kind of hidden in plain sight, I would say, is Giga presses. Now, this article misses some points, but Tesla's GigaPress has led to systemic industry change, and now EVs will cost less to build than internal combustion by 2027. I think they mean if that internal combustion is not using a GigaPress.
Right.
So other manufacturers, there's a fantastic follow on X, Luca Greco. He is to gigacastings what Jordan Giesecke is to batteries. He lives this stuff. He follows all the manufacturers. He might have an inside source or two, but if he does, you certainly didn't hear it from me, and I certainly didn't hear it from him. But there are almost every manufacturer is either looking at, has ordered, or has commissioned their own gigacastings. This idea that was so insane just a few years ago, now everyone is piling on because they work. They work. If you're going to make more than 500,000, a million of something, they end up being cheaper, but they're easier to manufacture. You just eliminated 100, 150 robots. You just shortened your line by 40 meters, probably. It just works. And while the savings, it's got more upfront cost, but who cares? Because the savings over time make it worth it. What about this? Do you think we're going to see more of this before we even get to unboxed?
Oh, definitely. We're going to see many manufacturers decide that maybe we'll try a Giga casting in maybe the rear portion of our vehicle and see how it goes. And once they do realize that it can be rolled into their current operational, they're going to be doing the front, the middle, the back, and eliminating all those extra steps. And you're right, but it does come down to volume. If you're producing a lot of vehicles, then this is the way to go. If you're more of a niche builder, then this is something you wouldn't consider. But certainly all the legacy automakers out there, the Toyotas, the Chevys, all of them really that produce millions of vehicles, they're all should be interested. And as you said, they are interested because the inquiries are flying and the orders are flying for these type of pieces of equipment.
Now, I don't remember all the brands that he said. I know he said there was a number of them in China that are already producing. I've seen pictures of lots outside where they're storing their new castings. I know at least one US manufacturer is trying to get one in, the same in Japan. This is happening because it works. And yeah, I agree with your philosophy. I think that's what Tesla did. They started with one casting, and then they just kept going from there, and the castings kept getting bigger. And other manufacturers are looking at different materials, magnesium, for example, in an alloy that doesn't go all sparkly when you get it too hot and create a fire that cannot be extinguished by man or God. There is some benefits there. By the way, in the comments, you guys, let's tell Mark how we pronounce niche or niche. And by the way, I wish to point out, because no matter how you say it, someone will tell you it's wrong. And I've checked. They're both correct. It's regional. So in the comments, how do you say it? And the funnier the answer, the better, I say, because I guess that kind of humor is just my niche.
There we go.
So... And then we get on to unbox. There's more savings to be had there. I think all of these are going to just compound. Now I've got one more slide here. I don't remember what it is. Oh yeah, it was that. Not my dog, just a picture I saw. Yesterday's video, I was going to show a different one, but I forgot to, and it was this one. So they just give me joy. They just give me joy. That's not my dog. That is photoshopped by someone, and they did a magical job. So those are all great things that deserve to be shared, because this is the internet, and we have some fun. In the comments, though, also tell us what hidden financial things are we missing here. There's service. There's, things like the money you spend on premium connectivity. It's only $10 a month if you go monthly, 100 a year. Otherwise, they might be making a buck or two off that, but times a couple million, 10 million, 30 million on the road eventually. Pretty soon you're talking real money. And if it's even a buck a month and you've got 10 million using it, that's real money. Enhanced autopilot or self-driving, those are 100 and 200 a month respectively. Once V12 is wide and working, that's quite a potential for some real big money. And if that comes out before the quarter ends, a lot of people are going to sign up just to try it. And all that money is recognized. It's not deferred, because when the month ends, it just ends. It just ended. You paid for a month of beta, you got a month of beta. So what other...
I will also point out that Tesla's not sitting on their hands here. These were inventions that they pushed forward during the process of building cars. And we've heard about future enhancements. Elon has been quoted in saying that the next high volume car, the most spectacular thing about the car is going to be how it's built. So he's already indicated that there are some advancements that Tesla has been looking at over building these millions of cars already, and now incorporating into the next vehicle. And that is designed to save money and time as well.
48-volt architecture is a great example. You can trim 50 pounds of copper out of your car. 50 pounds of copper, well, that's $100. What? Maybe? I don't know that. I don't have the number in front of me, but let's just say it's $10 if you're making of the compact. Let's say they're making only 2 million a year, 20 million a year times 10 years. That's a fifth of $1 billion on a $20 savings. But it's going to be more than that, because you're going to be reducing the amount of mined material required, which will, at that scale, actually materially affect the cost of copper globally, because you're saving I don't know, 100 million tons of it. If you've got enough vehicles using the 48 volt architecture, it'll make the parts cheaper for other manufacturers. It makes the manufacturing process itself easier. It just cascades. And like you were just saying, they invented a lot of these things. Not invented, but they, they didn't come up with,
Optimized.
they optimized, they implemented it. A large casting was not impossible before. People had shown demos of it. Sandy Monroe had a giant frame that was a single casting that he has in his little display area in his office right now. I've seen it. That a client brought to him 20 years ago because the client said, I think this can work. Let's get this out there. And nobody wanted to touch it. Yeah, it's too expensive. It's too fiddly, whatever. 48 volt has been talked about since at least the 80s. And it's just every time they've tried, there's an obstacle. If one supplier holds you back, now you've got to get step downs and deal with all that. And now we'll just stick with just one more year on one more platform on the 12 volt, and then we'll deal with it. Cars are going to get cheaper, and I'm here for it, baby. Any other savings in the comments? What savings did we miss? Or do you have any more savings that I'm forgetting? Any more income opportunities? Any more revenue? Once you get FSD, hit an I'm feeling lucky button and see which sponsor it takes you to? Applebee's again. Ugh. I have frozen food at home. I don't need someone else to heat it up. So anyway, yeah, let us know in the comments. What did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Stay tuned. But also stay tuned to the Tesla Life because they do great work, as you must know, because I've told you to check them out enough times. I'm sure you have. And when you go to the Tesla Life and click on videos, click on live instead, because that's where the live shows are. And it's easy to look at it and go, wait, this channel doesn't have as many videos as I thought. They've got a few. They've got a few. So click on the live tab, do that instead. And yeah, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots. Maybe next week I might do a live show from outside the Fremont factory just before my tour.